ndị be anyị ekenekwa unu ọzọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa. Ha si nke echiri ya zelu ndị be anyị daalụ niile nkwenisi na-esore na ya na-eme n'elu akwụkwọ a na Eastern News 24 bụ ebe isi were wetara ya bụ nnukwu ozi gbara ọkpọrọkpọ gbasịta maka ife na-eme n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya na gbasịta maka nwere onwe anyị na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, ya bụ ya wetara unu bụ ndị a bụ nnukwu ife maka o nwere okwu anyị kwuburu oge gara aga na ana Igbo ya adịdịdị na ihe ọbụla onye Igbo chọrọ na ya eweta ya bụ nke ọma no matter what, and ana Igbo ya adị mma no matter mkpọgbu ọbụla a na-eme anyị n'obodo a, ana Igbo ya akwụdịrịdị ife anyị kwuburu n'oge gara aga. Dịka o si dị, o nwere ya ewetara n'ụbọchị nke taa anyị chọkwu ntụghe ya bụ ife alụ ge ya bụ ife unu ga-esi ya bụ ife unu drọpụra your own comment na comment section biro ife iche gbasịta maka ihe ndị anyị je ga ugbu a. Ọ bụ na nke akwa n'ụbọchị izi gị isore na Eastern News 24 kabalụ ka ị like ya and subscribe and turn on your notification ka ị lapụ na-eme isi any of our update dịka anyị na-drop ya n'elu akwụkwọ na Eastern News 24. Alright, over to you, sir.
It's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers with the ombudsman of this day and Arise Media Group, Kayode Komolafe. Good morning, Mr. Komolafe. This beautiful, beautiful Easter Sunday. Mr. Kayode Komolafe, happy Easter to you.
Happy Easter, KK. Good morning.
Happy Easter, Mr. KK.
Happy Easter, Steve.
Happy Easter to you too.
Happy Easter.
How is Abuja? Yeah. Hope you are good there.
Very, very cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
All right, KK. So we're going to the newspaper review, and we'll start with this day on Sunday. Let's take it from top to bottom, and it's a good one. Excitement among stakeholders as Air Peace operates full capacity to London on inaugural flight. Keyamo promises to protect Nigerian carriers to sustain flights on international roads. We discussed that earlier on the program with a special report by our own Abi Owolawe. And below that on the strip is a story on page 10 of today's paper. Police arrest 8 suspects over murder of officers in Delta. And below the masthead, Labour Party's cracks Widen as Obi threatens to dump party. That's on page 12 of today's paper. We did have yesterday a guest, of course, who spoke extensively about the crisis in the Labour Party and the way out for Mr. Peter Obi. Under that story is the story that addresses what everybody is celebrating today, particularly the Christians. In Easter messages, leaders, others sue for peace, love, sacrifice, humility. Khan urges Nigerian leaders to govern with wisdom, fairness, integrity, compassion. CDS demands sacrifice, courage from armed forces of Nigeria. And the lead story itself, Rivers Assembly threatens to resume impeachment proceedings against Fubara. And last but not the least is the story that readers will find on page 10 of this day. Governor Sani laments his death burden inherited from El Rufai. That story is already trending on social media with El Rufai's son, responding to, not having a very complimentary word for his father's successor. But I think we should also look at the picture. That's August visit, the cover picture for today. It says former President Olusegun Obasanjo with the Edo State Governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, during the former president's courtesy visit to Government House in Benin City yesterday. Those are the stories, KK. Easter messages, River Assembly threatening to resume impeachment proceedings against Fubara, and of course excitement about Air Peace's inaugural flight. KK, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Steve. Maybe we should begin with the front page photo of this day, and that is to immediately disabuse your mind. And before the way you are introducing the the photo, more or less giving it a political undertone. That actually President Obasanjo was in Edo, on a personal, I think went for a marriage or so. And don't forget that President Obasanjo is a great son-in-law of Edo people.
State.
So it's more or less an homecoming, And it's just only a matter of courtesy that as a former president, being in town, to pay courtesy on Governor Obaseki, which is quite in good spirit. Now, quite a lot of very interesting stories, very good ones, on the front page of This Day Today. Perhaps we should start first of all, by congratulating Air Peace, for the feat, achieved, and that should raise, a wider question, and that is the question of what is in terms of planning, in terms of economic planning, the priority that is accorded, developing, the Nigerian industry, Nigerian enterprise. Because when you listen to officials and, and experts, we spend a lot of time and energy about foreign investment, about attracting FDI, which is quite good. But I'm saying that, there is no country, there is no economy that you make foreign investment the cornerstone of your economy. It's important, that, just as efforts are made, to attract foreign investment, efforts also should be made, if possible, even double efforts, should be made to support, the local industry. And that is why the assurance given by the aviation minister, Mr. Festus Keyamo, is quite in order, that government should support, the investors in aviation industry so that industry, can actually, take its pride of place within the economy because of its, pivotal importance. So while we congratulate Air Peace for this success and wish them well, I will also say that, other investors in that particular industry, should be supported. Now, the other story, the political story also will also interest readers. Perhaps we'll start with the lead story, that is talking of the political story. We should start with the lead story, which is the story of the running story, if you like, from Rivers State. That is the reported resumption of impeachment moves against Governor Fubara. It's unfortunate because I haven't signed, quote unquote, that peace agreement, in Aso Rock, ordinarily, that's giving a goodwill and utmost good faith on all sides that perhaps a peace, will be expected to be returned to a Rivers State polity, because for the governor, to be able to deliver on his promise to the people, he needs peace, and order, in the state, and distraction, is the last thing, that you want. So the urge to be that, for the stakeholders, that perhaps, more effort should be made, to ensure reconciliation between Governor Fubara and his predecessor, if you like, the Godfather, Mr. Yeson Wike, now is not the Minister of FCT. That given the history of their relationship, I think that it's not every conflict, that should be taken to the breaking point. But as it were in Nigeria, especially when you have this conflict between governors, and their successors, or maybe governors and their predecessors, it's often taken to the breaking point, and I think that is not a good commentary. So maybe to build things on a rather optimistic note, that the situation in Rivers State, should not be seen as being beyond redemption, that it is still possible, for peace, to return. That of Labour Party, yeah, the crisis there, I mean, it should also be situated that, it has a history, that predates the membership, of Mr. Peter Obi. Mr. Peter Obi joined, quite just a few months to the election, in 2022, But before then, don't forget that, there's been a crisis in Labour Party that they had to go to court, and that Abure is a chairman, is based, on some victory in court. But the contradictions, which, have only been there, they are now just only coming into the open. Because, contrary to what, some people, later the members of Labour Party will say that Labour Party is just an empty sack. Just an empty sack, just waiting for a content, to make it stand. It's not so, Labour Party has been, one of the oldest, party, that it had, long before the 2023 election, Labour Party had produced a governor, Governor Mimiko, contested on the platform of Labour Party twice and won, and governed, on a program, which he never denied that was distant, from, the program of Labour Party, which is that, the program of Labour Party actually is what we could call some kind of, left of the center, program, And if you look at the tenure of Governor Mimiko, he actually professed, some kind of social democratic content, in terms of his emphasis, on education, healthcare, especially at the basic level, that you have it, So that what I'm saying that, that people should actually understand the history of Labour Party. That the history of Labour Party did not begin, with the 2023 election, and that what is playing out now is actually, those contradictions that were not resolved then. The other contradiction is that, that ideologically, is the sort of politicians that have come to, seek the tickets of Labour Party to concern, I really have no business, being members of Labour Party, because ideologically, that what their position in politics, are quite at variance with what, the Labour Party, stand for. So the battle now, for the soul of Labour Party, perhaps, is to return it, into its original form, and that will, so if Mr. Peter Obi, decides to quit the Labour Party, I think it will be quite consistent, with what should be the normal dynamic of things, because in reality, right-wing politicians like Mr. Peter Obi had no business being a member of the Labour Party in the first place. And some of the people who, because of the emergency, the moment of looking for a platform to contest, had no business. And it was in the course of securing the membership of the Labour Party and consequently having tickets of Labour Party to contest that a lot of distortion, has been brought, to the character, of Labour Party itself. So if at the end of the day, Labour Party is restored, to its original formula, then it could have succeeded. Because I'm saying this because people just flippantly say that no, in Nigerian politics is not ideological, is just move. Yes, it could be correct. But in the case of Labour Party, before 2022, in the Constitution, when the Political Commission of the Nigeria Labour Congress registered this party in 2023, in the Constitution, it is put there that the aim of, one of the objectives of the Labour Party is to work towards having a socialist Nigeria. Socialism was in the Constitution, but it was when the various right-wing elements took over, and they just saw the Labour Party as a franchise, which you could, use for a political purpose, that has to be impunged, and distorted the character. What we should expect now is that, there could be a sort of, purgation, within the Labour Party, and then, restoring it to its original character.
So, Mr. Komolafe, wait, before you move forward, Mr. Komolafe, I just wanted to touch on what the point you made about Peter Obi not having any business being in the Labour Party in the first place. Now, would you say that, are you saying that you will support him dumping the party at this point? Because I feel like the Labour Party, in fact, just that whole idea of socialism and that movement was one of the reasons Peter Obi got the momentum that he got. What do you make of that?
Yeah, to your first question, yes, if Mr. Peter Obi asked for my advice as a friend, I would say that it is good for him to dump the Labour Party and go to be a member of a party that is consistent with his world view. Yes, to your second question, no doubt about that. As I was saying that that his membership, of Labour Party, definitely the momentum and the immense, political goodwill, and investment that has brought, actually has made a difference, But what I'm now saying is that if you are having this crisis now, that it shows that fundamentally there is a sort of, a contradiction, which is playing out, and that contradiction will have to be resolved, dialectically. Yeah.
Yeah, there are talks about Peter Obi moving to other parties like the SDP. I'm sure you've heard about that. Would it be in order if you were to go back to the PDP? Yeah,
if you ask me to suggest to Mr. Peter Obi, I would say that his natural political habitat should be PDP. Because going to SDP again is going to be the same contradiction. SDP, by its definition, is supposed to be a social democratic party. It's supposed to be a left or the center party, But the politics, the worldview of Mr. Peter Obi, which he has, clearly articulated, are not the kind of a vision, that is in the program, of SDP. Because all these parties, they have their program, contrary to the way people just dismiss it, and you can, and if we take time to study it, we can see some form of ideological delineation, in it, and that ought to be taken note of. Okay.
Was there any other topic you wanted to discuss on this day before we head over to this day's style?
Yes, very, very important. Yes, the situation, just before we take style, is very important. The situation is in Delta. I think it is reassuring that now, the police, have now, arrested, some people, which is now, and that is consistent with what the senior advocate, Femi Falana, was suggesting, that now at this stage, that the matter, should be left with the police, to do the investigation, do the arrest, and then ensure, proper prosecution of those who are suspected to have committed the crime. So I think it is in good order, and I think more effort should be made. And that is better than having a collective, executing a collective punishment, the communities where, this the sad incident, took place.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Komolafe, for that. And let's now move over to this day's style. If we can pull up this day's style, the cover picture there. First 100 years. Violet Iyabode Ladipo, who celebrated her centurion birthday last week. I mean, congratulations to her. She looks completely amazing. 100 years old in a country where, the lifespan is estimated at 56 years old. I mean, she is fortunate to be among those God have blessed to reach that age, 100. Now, inside the story there, it says friends and family, well-wishers gathered on Thursday, March 24th to celebrate with Oloye, Mrs. Violet Iyabode Ladipo, the matriarch of the Ladipo family of Lisabi Mills. I'm sure you're familiar with Lisabi Mills. The day started with a Thanksgiving service at St. Peter's Church, Lagos Island, and ended with a grand reception at the Harbour Point Event Center in Victoria Island. The birthday celebration presented another opportunity to reflect on Mama's life and her achievements and acknowledged the efforts and contributions she's made in no small measure to the Nigerian food industry. It was a fun-filled day with many notable Nigerians present to celebrate and honor the graceful Amazon. She truly is a graceful Amazon. I did see some videos of her on social media. Some of the dignitaries that attended that event include former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, and our very own Rufai Oseni was there as well. It looked like a fun-packed event. She looked really strong in the videos that I saw her. She obviously is an astute businesswoman and well-respected voice in the food processing industry. She actually assumed control of Lisabi Mills as managing director in 1962 at the age of 37 when her late husband, Josephus Kayode Ladipo, unexpectedly passed away in 1961. We at Arise News are wishing her happy birthday again and congratulations on her centurion birthday. Huge congratulations. Mr. Komolafe, I'm sure you love these types of stories. I'd like your comment before we move over to another topic.
Yeah, really great story. Happy birthday to Mama Ladipo. I think she's truly blessed. And I don't know, Oji, if you have watched the clip, a clip on the birthday, you know.
Yes.
And you could see that Mama's dancing steps, you know.
Yes.
We'll be aching to the dancing steps of a 27-year-old
I'm telling you, I was truly
woman,
inspired.
And not a 100 years exactly, truly, you know. Happy birthday to her and congratulations.
Well, I hope I reach 100 years old. Adeswa, what are your thoughts? Really quickly, then you take another paper.
Amen.
I hope I reach 100 years old. I was saying Adeswa.
Yes. Well, I hope so too.
Do you want to reach 100? Yeah.
Maybe just 100. I don't know if I want more than that.
But if you can look like Iyabode, why not? And she was dancing beautifully. If you can reach 100 and be like her, why not?
I want to reach whatever age God wishes to gift me with.
Absolutely.
So are we moving on to the Sunday Tribune? The largest story there, the headline there under the masthead is low celebrations at Easter as food inflation hardship worsen. The writer says chicken prices rise to 23,000 naira. Atiku, Ganduje, governors, others felicitate with Nigerians and preach love. The rest of that story is on page 6 and page 7. This is no surprise. We've been talking about food inflation for a long time here. It's very sad to see that even in times of celebration, people's hardships are highlighted. The story under that we've spoken about earlier, which is El Rufai's, the issue with El Rufai and Sani Uba, Governor Sani Uba of Kaduna State. Title is El Rufai's government left $587 million, 85 billion naira in debt. We can't pay salary now. And the story next to that, what Tinubu government should have done better, that is on page 14 by Oshuntoko. And NECO to conduct SSCE for Nigerian students in Saudi Arabia. That story is on page 5. The story on page 4, a huge story, I know, for a lot of Nigerians. Businesses suffer as epileptic power supply continues nationwide. So I would say that's for Sunday Tribune. Those are the stories we have there. On top of the masthead, Edo 2024, INEC clears Igodalo, Ekwebolo, 15 others, and their running mates for the gubernatorial elections. And that story is on page 8, and that's obviously interesting because yesterday we did talk about the impeachment proceedings against the sitting deputy governor of Edo State, Shaibu, who did hold his own kangaroo primaries, parallel primaries for the PDP elections. And the other story there, the last story on the Sunday Tribune front page, is only end of farmers' headers crisis and kidnapping can reduce the price of rice. And that story is, that's a statement from Rifan, and that is on page 8.
All right, KK, would you like to take the stories on the cover of Sunday Tribune, or should we add that of Sunday Telegraph to it, so that you can take the two of them together? KK.
Okay, let me take that of Sunday Tribune.
Okay.
Let me take that of Sunday Tribune quickly.
Yes, please proceed.
Just maybe
Proceed,
just
sir.
two of the Sunday Tribune. Yes, one is actually the story of the day, which is Easter message, you know, and I think it's quite appropriate that, you know, while we talk of food, you know, for the stomach, you know, which as has been reported, you know, is not enough, you know, at Easter. We will also take note of it that, you know, a lot of food for the soul, food for the spirit, you know, has been offered by leaders, you know, and others in their messages, and that is, you know, the virtues, you know, being preached. They are needed, you know, in abundance, you know, virtues of compassion, of humility, of sacrifice, education. You know, that we need that all those virtues, you know, they should constitute the food, you know, for the soul, so that we will be able to have the right, you know, frame of mind, you know, to pursue the material needs, you know, of the people, especially food. You know, I think those messages, you know, from leaders, you know, I mean, they should really sink, and the leaders themselves, and also should also, you know, show example, you know, by demonstrating those virtues, so that the people to whom they are preaching those virtues will also go along. That will have a great country. The other story is the political story here, and I think, as they say, all eyes maybe for the next few months, you know, will be on Edo as the stage is set, you know, for, you know, what appears to be, I mean, what from the face of it now promises to be a very keen contest, you know, among the major parties in the gubernatorial election. It is important to stress that just as the competition goes on, that you know, the rules of the game, you know, should be complied with, and as the electoral contest, you know, the campaigns and the mobilization, you know, should be done in, you know, free and fair atmosphere, you know, because when you talk of the requirements of being free and fair, it is not only on the election day, you know, the fairness, you know, and the freedom, you know, should begin, you know, even in the course of campaign, you know, and the election, the process also should be violent free, you know, so that at the end of the day, who emerges, you know, as the governor of Edo State will be the true, I mean, that would be a true expression of the will, you know, of the people. So maybe we should take the Telegraph's story now.
All right, KK. So we go to Sunday Telegraph.
Yeah.
It's quite a political cover, save for the story on CBN. It's a political cover for Sunday Telegraph. The banner headline has the kicker 2027. The headline itself: crisis in opposition parties threaten coalition. PDP, LP, NMPP leaders squabble over control structure. Rufai, SDP, others may push for alliance. APC, we have no hand in other parties' troubles. And then the second lead on top of that is also about the controversial convention. And the headline says why LP, Labour Party, may not participate in Ondo other polls. Abure, NWC can't sign nomination forms. Repeat of Oshomole's Zamfara 2019 mishap, likely. There are a number of other stories that we have taken in this day and Tribune. Of course, there's also the Easter message on the window. The story is on page 6. Akpabio, Atiku, governors, Obi, others preach love, peace, sacrifice, unity. And the other story is CBN's new capital base. Without retained earnings, banks will struggle. And that's Dr. Teriba and a few other economic analysts dissecting the new policy from Mr. Yemi Cardoso's CBN. An interesting story that that we will have pointed the attention of our readers to, sadly does not have a pagination. The headline says, cost of healthy diet stood at 938 in February. That's according to MBS. I think that would be an interesting story, but apparently the editor and his team I forgot to put the pagination, and I hope that Geoffrey, the editor of Sunday Telegraph, will not run into trouble with his MD. Those are the stories on the cover of today's Sunday Telegraph, KK.
All right, Mr. Komolafe, I think it will be nice to end the newspaper review with the lead story of the Guardian newspaper, where they interviewed about 6 clerics, and they are talking about why Nigerians and leaders must show compassion by these clerics. They've interviewed these 6 clerics, and I'll just quickly read an excerpt of the one of their interviews to our leaders. This season serves as a call to action, to listen, to serve, and to lead with integrity. May the lessons of sacrifice and resurrection inspire you to champion policies and initiatives that elevate the burdens of our people and steer our nation towards prosperity and peace. I think this is such an important message to our leaders and Nigerians at large to show some sort of kindness. I mean, they're talking about lack of kindness, human feelings, leads people to kidnap and kill. So I think that is such a compassionate message, a compassionate Easter message for our viewers to catch up on the Guardian newspaper. Over to you, Mr. Komolafe. We only have a minute.
I cannot agree more with you, Oji. Compassion, I mean, is a...
And by that only no consciousness or any name. Nirakwa. Edeke iso wege ya bife inurie the ballon the gentle lion who was in Nirakwa. No basinke tata no. Ozo de kibi ya bo. Kefi were iku basta ya bife ndani no who was in Nirakwa. Folk would didn't open the course the kefi were iku basta ya bife. Drop wire on the comment section below. Chitokwe ya Eastern News 24 kaisi wene wotado no pose ya dokempa. Dano no mundem gwan kemesian.